All right, welcome. This is a trading view of the week February 2nd to February 6th, 2026. There's a few key ideas behind this week on things that I can generally improve on. First is that being the middle band trades that I'm taking, like this middle band short here rather than the lowest band break. And the other, which has been a recurring theme, not too happy about that, is just the preparation and focus that's required for each and every trade. And in order for me to do that well and do that consistently, it also means that I have to be taking breaks throughout the day, throughout the session. So overall, it was an okay week. Managed to end strong, had a few good trades, but had two or three major trades. Well, would be major trades that just got hit out by the last second or so. And I really think that comes down to the minute to minute nuances and precision in execution in hitting that button and entering the trade, which is so important. And that requires me to be watching the candles very closely and prepared far ahead of time. So where are we at? First day, Monday. No real drivers on this day that I can remember, but just a strong rally off the open. Clearly, bulls are in control, and I am chasing this middle band short right into support, right? Shorting here, as opposed to, say, shorting here. Let me mark this. Right, so I'm shorting too close to support, as opposed to here, where the resistances line up. But regardless of that, I mean, I don't think I should be getting short anyways. Again, this middle band here that I've been trying to avoid, although this is feasible, but nothing until this breaks. And I remember seeing this in real time where the short here got stopped out kind of embarrassingly. And also, I believe it was the exact same minute as news came out. There was a 10 a.m. report there. So that felt pretty idiotic. Right, always writing on my screen, 10 a.m. news, 10 a.m. news, you better be paying attention. So an immediate stop out there. I see this curl up. I see the continuation, the orange holding, the selling in teal, right? Which we already saw prior, the selling in teal. And I was thinking like, oh my gosh, there's a perfect, all this here to be grabbed. There's a perfect long right here. I saw that in real time, but I just had to sit out after this. So I just watched, that was okay. Took a pretty decent break. And I remember seeing this long here on the break, as well as noting this yellow. But for me, you just can't take this, right? It's too close below this support. Well, now resistance. It does manage to break, but retraces further. I see the cup closure here, and I could have gotten in on closer to the yellow, closer to the resistance. Right, the ICH consolidation breakdown of this white level, like more so on the turn, is a pretty clear turn here. And I ended up trailing way too closely and got stopped. Just about break even on the tick there. This would have been nice, but again, you see it selling in that teal. We break out after reclaiming the consolidation lows, or the consolidation support. It's just like a beautiful setup at the previous day's high. But I hadn't really prepared well enough for this at the time. I just kind of, that like last second intuition saw it, which is something that I think is something to aspire to in the future. However, right now in my trading, that's not how I want to be operating. I want to be planning ahead of time because I do too much of that. So I just cut it immediately. And in hindsight, I mean, I think it was the right decision. This was like, I'm thinking about something completely unrelated, and then, oh, in 2 seconds I'm in a trade. Like, that's just not, it doesn't matter if it was right or wrong. It's just not responsible. But I did see the potential for a long entry at the yellow, and that's what happened here. I got and This also comes down to that finesse. This yellow, it is a resistance. I can see us wedging between the orange or this red as well. So maybe entering a little closer here would have been the better move, right? Somewhere on here towards this bottom end, as opposed to at the top, right at resistance. Just gives you better positioning in the trade, especially if you do have that conviction that it's going to work. We kind of flag sideways here and then we break. And this trade was really kind of a joke. It was a mess. It's a Monday. The volatility is very low. I was frustrated because of this break even, this very embarrassing short, which again, there's no lower high here. There's no inverse cup and handle. There's no reason to be shorting there. So I kind of was pushing for a home run, and this was a great move, but largely guided by my own greed and stubbornness. You can see it in the orange, and I just decided to hold it for the sake of being an idiot, being a loser. And we do hold the prior top yellow. I get stopped. The market breaks out here, right? There's no liquidity here, here, here. So it needs to build. It builds that right shoulder, that CS yellow, gorgeous CS. Holds, holds, holds. And I took this on sim when we broke down, still holding that yellow, right? Breaks back up, holds the supports, and I marketed like right long, right here for a beautiful entry. That was perfect. Yeah, so not a great start to the week. Mondays, you have to be really patient. You have to be very relaxed. Cannot be, trading like that. It's just I don't want to say it. You have to disengage from the typical behaviors of pushing and going for these home runs and these big moves. You have to reset your expectations because these Mondays are typically much slower, consolidating, choppier, grindier days. And that's okay. You can still make money. There's still, a world of opportunity. You just cannot be trading this Monday in the same way that you'd be trading, say, a post FOMC Thursday, which we always know are very high volatility, often have great moves, great continuations, reversals, things like that. So yeah, Tuesday. Oh yeah, let me get this out of the way. Yeah, this was a hard day because I ended up getting hit right at the beginning. The idea with this was, I think it was simple. Again, I wish I could remember some drivers and catalysts here, but just like pretty clear resistance um, at yesterday's sort of consolidation, looking for that breakdown. We're seeing the orange very clearly here. We get that sharp move down, inverse cup handle, and I was also watching this teal here, which was gorgeous, like so, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. And I ended up just chasing this short, really. I mean, it is just a chase. It's a fantastic location area on the chart to be getting short. It makes perfect sense to me. But again, that minute-to-minute execution, and you'll see this as a theme throughout the week. Up until this point, I don't really think there was a trade, but we did trade back in. I remember watching this very clearly. And we maintain this now support. This is support, right? And also this teal that I had drawn. I mean, I can even change the color. This teal that I had drawn as well, right? So this actually would have been a good short at the roll 1, 2, 3, that little crown pattern breaks back down, and especially at the prior bear breakdown point, you know this is a resistance, so we know that the teal is a resistance. It rolls over, and I'm shorting now rather than shorting at resistance like here. I am shorting into support, support. This is all support here. And it's also very vertical from where the liquidity is right here. So this is, again, support, this level right here, right? That is the liquidity support. Prior resistance, now support, and we see that. So I'm shorting right into the lows of it, right where I'm expecting to find buyers. And also this is, I call this like sort of uppy downy, where it builds, breaks up, and I'm expecting that sort of curve arch rollover, right? But no, it almost always builds that little bit of a lower high. Almost, it doesn't just go like it. It almost always builds that little bit of a, right, like we see here. And then the support is holding from the red, from the teal. And then once we get this bar now retests those prior supports as resistance, right? We see this level clearly. Retest those prior supports as resistance. We get this wick, we get this breaking down. It's not that uppy downy that I call up down curve or arch break into the liquidity here. It has that diagonal grab to it. Beautiful. And again, very simply, I had this red support here, came back, retested. This, again, I saw this in real time, would have been an amazing short. I just had to sit there and watch after sort of chasing this. And this, again, you're planning ahead of time. You're thinking before, okay, where can I get short? Oh, I see this. You want to be getting short at the resistances. Oh, I see this sort of 3 push crown pattern here. Okay, I'm getting short. After that, ICH and the liquidity below. But at this point, I was thinking like, okay, maybe we get an IHS here with the teal, right? We hold that support. I was thinking about this in real time. So something like this, right? But that means that you can't be shorting it here. You have to see us lose this level. And it's not until this candle, the one circled in red, that we actually lose that level. And you can short there. So we continue lower. This would have been an all right short trade, just like, it's thin, but a simple continuation. We have confirmed the orange. We've confirmed the magenta. The red. We see the red in action here. We see just like a very simple, basic ICH. We see that little bit of a 1, 2, and then 3-point turn into the 9, get short, stop above there, and that is an easy 10 points. Take your money and run. But I get way too complicated, and I start longing. Again, after this, like, show me a good higher low, show me a breakout. We're still below this resistance, and this was kind of the main lesson today, where like I've jotted out this top teal here. This is a resistance. It is CS, but it is a resistance. So you see beautifully short, 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 short. And it isn't until we reclaim and we close above that we have longs. Reclaim, close above, we have longs, right? So I am longing up into it. I guess this little, teal and then the green here. If you're going to long here, you have to take profits at the top where the resistance is, and again, just a beautiful IHS or ICH, lower high, lower high, lower high, short into resistance. We have this engulfing candle here. We're losing the original magenta and just breaks down, grabbing this LQD here, and that is a great trade. It's just that planning ahead of time. And again, after a mistake, like, it's not, this could have been better for sure. But after a trade like this, you have to really reset. You can't have one foot in the market and one foot out. You have to be completely detached, removed from what just happened, and be able to come back in. And that requires get up, get some water, walk around, take a break, and you'll be fine. And again, just longing here. This is my arch nemesis setup, the bottom band, top side long in a heavy downtrend, right? So we are basically forming this, ignore everything else on the chart. We're basically forming this, and I'm getting long here. As opposed to if we were forming that exact same type of channel with the flag being this, right? Because we came into this teal flag with very aggressive selling as opposed to very aggressive buying. So that's two very different things. So again, I remember taking this on sim. Just resistance, 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 close above, very clear support, beautiful. What's the problem? Keep it simple. Close above, why this fancy garbage here, you know? And that was largely it. I saw this alignment a little cleaner. As we lose the teal, as we lose the red, breakdown aligning with the liquidity there, great. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember geez. I remember the drivers. I believe that the Epstein files played a pretty large role in some of the market movements this week, in names that like we saw on Microsoft with Bill Gates, Palantir with Peter Thiel. And there were also some technical things going on as well, such as the 150 break on Palantir, that consolidation support. I think that the uncertainty or potentially some names of other major company CEOs being listed in there would left a tinge of no, not a tinge, but it left a very clear mark of volatility and a lack of assuredness about what was going to happen. If there's some major investigations going on to some CEOs and companies and things like that that had associations with Epstein and his accolades. So I think that had played a role in it for sure. Make sure I'm recording. So here there was, I had some connectivity issues to start off the day, so I could not take this short, but that's okay because I was able to really focus back in. Ninja was down, I think, for many people. And this was a solid short. I wish I would have been a little closer to the top there at the resistance, but managed okay. This was a very poor trade because we are at support, 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 all here, right? And resistance, 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 all here. So it's not until we lose this magenta or the red and this here, the bottom band, always bottom band, you know, then we have a strong close below that support. We have a retest and we lose the teal support as well as the red. Then you have a great short. This short as well was very painful. This is the uppy downy, right, where we never form that higher low. We never, right, then we can break. It was just wedging, breakout, down. No, that's just not how it works. And I'm chasing the breakdown mid-bar after this outside bar. Very stupid. Not a trade. Yeah, this needs to build. You know, this is just not a trade. And that's exactly what we get. We come back up. We anti-alk with a top band teal. This is gorgeous. This teal here that I have, right? Place it to the top. I mean, you see that so clearly, right? Great short still, because we still have the ICH, right? This low of day. So we're still getting those resistances, those lower highs. Here we break again, lowest band. So this would be your new red. You cannot be shorting here, too messy, and also too uppy downy, right? Because it's just here's your liquidity, your consolidation, breakout. You just want it immediately down, immediately downwards. No, it has to first usually form that little bit of a higher low, and that's what we get here. We get this. We get a little bit of this, right? That's perfect. Break back down. We're now pressing on the lows. This closes lower. That's our outer band. We have the ICH there. Retest the red. Beautiful short, right? Yeah, and yeah, it was tough mentally on some of these trades this week. I was like frustrated, you know, but Okay, Thursday. I think there was a large driver this day related to what was it? The Challenger Grain Christmas jobs reports. So there was so much volatility today, like record job losses. And we had a large gap down, right? We were buying very strong, and then we bought into, we started buying in tapered CB, and it made for a really nice short, but it's, again, middle band. So very clearly, right? And then we have, right? So it's beautiful. But and even within that, you see the, no, sprouts of more aggressive buying, right? But anyways, we have this roll here, this really nice roll. Bar comes down, and I am, again, shorting into the support here. You see this line, support, 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 right? Draw that. Right. And it becomes problematic because you need to be getting in near the resistance, especially with this level of volatility. So we have this sort of, we want the crown pattern here. We're now making this resistance, and it needs to be getting as close as possible to the white. That white is my resistance. Short closer to there, and there's your trade, right? But again, this was really like, the problem with this is that I had written no mid-band short because I was thinking about shorting here. I had written no mid-band short. I was watching the charts very closely and hoping that the middle band short would fail. I saw this and I was like, okay, I'm not taking it. I saw this close back and I was like, oh my God, I have to get in. It's going to roll here. I just kind of chased it, and I got punished for it. But again, like, no mid band short, very clear. This trade here is not horrible. This sequence, because we do have the ICH. Now we have a lower high, right? So it's not uppy downy. We actually have the lower high. This breakdown, the double band of the white, just needed to be closer. I needed to be entering here. And as soon as you get that break of low day, like, you're exiting, because there's not a lot of structure here. This is not going to be a home run trade. And here, the greatest example of, like Nano was talking about, I really like this comment, which was shorting into support. You are, just like you saw me do yesterday on that losing short trade. We have this, wedging here, whatever, sort of consolidation, breakout, and I am up, down short. And it's like, no, it always comes down and it forms some sort of a lower high, and there's your short, right? But this was a mess. Yeah, that was a really poor trade, especially after this outsized bar. And, where is the good short here? Well, the good short is, we have the top teal, resistance, 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 resistance. Beautiful. That's shorting into resistance, your anti-algos. There was actually one earlier this week. Where was it that I didn't take? That I saw. Yes, right here, right here. I didn't mention this. This was gorgeous, right? And I saw this in real time. This is such a beautiful trade because we have the ICH, we have this built here. We know that there's a potential for this to come back, and we retest my bottom red. You have to have that confidence, and you can't short here, right? It's just too vertical. So you wait. It forms that lower high. When you get that wick rejection breaking down, oh my goodness, that is a gorgeous short. Because you're at that top orange, you're at that red. We have the ICH. There's this liquidity lower. Perfect, right? So yeah, this was a mess. And also this concept of it aligning properly, right, with the liquidity. Very nice, very nice. But okay, let me wrap this up. This is way too long. Friday, And this is okay. I want to finish with this, which is that I managed to take a great trade on Friday, which was this short right here. You can also see, and we're formed a cup above previous day's high and a little cup and handle here. Higher time frame cup above previous day's high, as well as this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. When you're in a very bullish market like we were today, you have this extremely incredibly strong reclaim, double touch there, absolutely beautiful. The anti-algo of the top red with that 3 push, and then the liquidity building here because of the lack of liquidity here on the breakout, and we break out again. I mean, great setups today. As well as this trade short where we retest the middleman. We have the double algo, 3 push, 1, 2, 3, as well as the middle anti shorting into resistance. Gorgeous. But on days like this, I finished and I just kind of wanted to be done, and it's understandable. It was like 11:30 on a Friday. I'm kind of over it. But there was great opportunities today. So yeah. But anyways, thank you very much for listening, and we'll continue to build. One thing I did particularly well this week was just staying very rigid in my 3 trades a day, 10-minute break in between each trade, and commissions are so painful, but so I'm really incentivized to not overtrade. But the other important thing being that I'm able to be much more in tune with every single entry. Every single entry matters because I only have 3 trades. So everyone has to be great. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. That's it.